It seems like it's been taking me forever to record this because it's not something that I really want to talk about, but it's something I need to talk about in order to just let go of it so I can move forward. And hopefully it does help other people who have dealt with these types of situations. So I can't necessarily say what it is or put the blame or accuse anybody of anything because you don't typically have proof of these type of things. So I can't go to anyone and say, oh, this person did this, oh, this person is doing that. The 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 type of thought that was put into this, like, I wonder, I kind of like just I wonder, like, what how did that conversation go when they were planning to do this, when they thought that this was such a good idea? How did that conversation go? I wish I was there to hear it roll off their tongue. Like, and I know why. Well, I feel like I know why it was all done. And it's like everybody wanted, everybody had some sort of issue with me that they used to justify that what they did was okay. So like I said, I can't say, oh, this person did this. I can't come out and say that because, like I said, I don't necessarily know who, what, when, where, or how, and that type of thing. All I can really just talk about is how it felt. And so I grew up in this small hometown where if you, like I probably said before, where if you're not careful, if you don't do your research, you might end up with your cousin. So it's that small of a town where everybody knows everybody, everyone grew up with everyone, and the majority of people stayed versus a small number of people who actually moved away and scattered to different places. And so the people that was kind of just left here, and people who stayed here or in the areas close by, like I said, everyone knew each other, and or know of someone that knows you, because like I said, it's a small town, and even the cities that surround the area, because it's people that have been in this area for so long, everyone still knows just about everyone. So I grew up here. I've been here my whole life. I don't really know of anything else, and I would just love to go somewhere else that would be ideal for me, but I'm not in the position to leave or go anywhere else. I have my kids that are in school, And I know that growing up for me, I moved around a lot. And so I really wanted to allow them to have that stability, um, of going to, the same school and being in the same area at least, but throughout the years of these type of things happening, like even my stability have been threatened. And it's very it's beyond challenging because, as pretty much as a single mom, you don't have that luxury, of course, of having that partner to assist you with, you know, um, you know, compensating, I guess, for what you can't do or which, pretty much is more of a teamwork type situation when you do have someone right there by your side that can assist you with, maybe taking the kids to school, cooking, whatever the case may be, just anything to just, help out the household. Um, and so it's hard really trying to do both. It's hard really trying to work, take care of the household, raise the kids. They're getting older, of course, and they need things. And I mean, it's like all you can really do a lot of times as a single mom, if you're not really trying to do anything that will get your kids taken away from you, it's like you kind of feel limited in some kind of way, for certain things, I guess. And it all depends on quite a few factors, your circumstance, and the support that surrounds you. So it's a lot of factors that kind of determine how big of a challenge it is, but I can't really speak for even other single moms. I can only speak for myself and just how much of a challenge it is, with or without the support. Is just the trying to juggle and do all things. And there's been a few times where I would work 2 jobs, and I would try to go to school, and I might have ended up tiring myself out trying to do so much, take care of the kids, maintain a household, make sure we have transportation. It's a lot that goes into it. And so, like I said, a few times I would have to get maybe a job or two, or but it's like no matter what I do or the circumstance, it can never be. And I know I'm not expecting it to be, but I just want a moment where everything just feels like there's smooth sailing. And it doesn't feel like that, and it rarely does. It rarely does. And you look at everyone that's around you, and you see that they all have that partnership that does assist them with maintaining a household. Some people can be in a partnership and then realize that your household is threatened to sink because not everyone is on the same page. You may have some person, one person that knows how to maintain their money and take care of bills and do what they need to do. You may have another one who may be a little frivolous, and without that balance, things could definitely fall apart. And so it's definitely not the same for everyone. And and that's fine, but it's just navigating and the challenges that we come up against, mainly the ones that people kind of, or entities, whatever you want to say, those type of issues that are put in front of us that makes the day-to-day things that we have to do. You know, when things are put in front of us by other people or entities or whatever the case may be, it makes it so much harder. And that's what I was saying in one of my other videos, how if everyone just had the idea to make it easier for the next person, like, could you imagine how better everything would be? But that's just, it's not realistic. You know, it's ideal, but it's not the world that we live in. So I grew up here my whole life pretty much, and I went through a lot. You know, even growing up, my parents didn't have a lot of money. And, you know, you kind of grew up with those people whose parents might have been, you know, they had a higher profession. You know, a lot of people, quite a few people that I grew up with, they weren't even from this area. And their parents came down and they might have already, you know, had, you know, a good, you know, was pretty much well off. So I noticed that growing up. But, you know, for others, and it wasn't just me, it was others who also, of course, you know, was experiencing, you know, those types of issues growing up where, you know, your family may not have as much, you know, to take care of, you know, the family the way, you know, the ideal way. And but then you see others and they appear or seem to be thriving, and of course you don't know what goes behind everybody's, you know, the closed doors. And, you know, so it's kind of like you can't really think too much of it, or, you know, feel, you know, some type of way completely, because, you know, everyone does go through something. And everyone pretty much have their own life challenges. So I know for mine, like I said, I started, you know, I was growing up here and being here my whole life. And so went to, you know, quite a few different schools and everything, but school was never really my forte, because I didn't care to be around people. I didn't care to be around kids. They were they were loud to me, and I was very quiet, and I was shy if I didn't know who you were. I wasn't like that so much around my family, but if I was taken around other people and strangers, you know, I was very shy. And so I didn't like to go out much. I didn't like to do too much. I liked to stay at home, where to me I felt like it was safe. And so, you know, growing up too, because certain people don't fit in with crowds, they may always find themselves to be more so on the outside looking in, and that's okay. You know, sometimes people do prefer it that way, but it's hard to not be noticed when other people see you standing there alone. And so you literally automatically become a target for whatever people want to project on you. And a lot of times I even know, even as a little girl, I would allow people to project on me. I didn't speak up for myself the way I should have. And, you know, you live and learn, and the qualities that you may need to have, you find that you end up obtaining those qualities through the life experiences that you go through as you do get older. So, like I said, everybody knew everyone in this lovely small town here. And I ended up going to this high school, and quite a few people in my family went to the same high school, but I'm going to tell you, it was just, I didn't care for the high school experience. I didn't care for the school experience at all. And it just seemed to have gotten worse when I got into high school. Um, but there were, some good things that happened. Like, I had got my first job in high school. I had, got my first car, and I was already independent, but it made me even more independent. It made my life just a tad bit easier than it was because I didn't have to catch the bus. I didn't have to walk everywhere. And that's what I was pretty much used to doing. Pretty much my whole life was, walking, catching the bus. Every so often, we'll catch rides from maybe, other people, but we didn't really have, immediate transportation growing up. And so I really tried to make sure that I worked hard and took care of my things so I could have what I needed. Because when you have what you need, at least life is just a tad bit easier than, of course, not having it at all. And so, I've been working for a while. I've been working, since high school. And even before high school, I would do little jobs, here and there to, help people out. And I might get a little bit of change in return. That's how I, got my school clothes and got the things that I needed when it got to a point where, my dad didn't really, I don't know what he was doing, but, my mom was having a hard time, because she had other children. And so other kids needed to be taken care of. So, I mean, we did the best we could, I would like to say. I mean, I know this one friend might, beg the differ on that. But I feel like we did what we knew to do for the most part. And so I'm in high school, and, I couldn't stand it, but I had this one good friend that just really, made it a lot easier for me just by him being there, and just by, his energy was just so light. And I love when people are able to make me laugh. I love a good laugh, not a cruel joke or, things that are done to really make someone feel like so low. Those aren't good jokes. They're not good jokes to me at all. And but then there was an incident that happened, and this incident, it sent my friend away. And I did not see him after that. And it's like, that's what I kind of noticed, is that everyone that I really did get close to, they ended up moving or going away or something, and then I wouldn't see them, or we'll lose contact or whatever. But I went through that, and then a little afterwards I graduated high school. And let me tell you, because I could not stand high school, I was so happy to graduate that I must have ran across that stage, because I barely remember walking or going across, but I did. And I was just like, I just knew I just knew I was never going to see these people again. I'm like, oh, I'm graduating high school. I don't have to see anybody that bullied me, anybody that, made fun of me in any kind of way. Like, oh man, I'm so relieved to not have to deal with this anymore. But then we we had a good old Facebook came into play. At first it was MySpace, but I didn't know about MySpace. I was always the last to find things out because I was never really the one to, um, I never kept up with trends. I didn't care to keep up with the trends. I worked as a teenager and I just had my own little world that I love being in. And so I didn't know anything about MySpace. But shortly after MySpace, everyone started to find out about Facebook and other social medias, and then it just, you know, became a ripple effect of different social media platforms that, got created. And and I discovered all those people that you went to school with and all those people that you didn't want to see. They're they're staring right back at you all over again. They're staring right back at you all over again. And then it starts to bring back all of the memories, all of the bad things that happened that was not so fun. And after my friend had went away, I started hanging out. Well, they were actually mutual friends of me and the friend that ended up going away. But so he left, and I was left with our mutual friends pretty much. And I had this one friend was the one that introduced me to who is now my ex. And like I started to say and talk about in my other videos, I didn't think that it was going to be any type of issue, or I I thought that everything would be okay. And so like I said, I started to date him, and we started going out, but we didn't really go out to restaurants. We didn't go out to eat. We didn't go to nice places or anything. We would just drive around. We would literally just drive around, because I had a car. And I felt like that was actually one of the reasons why the friends that I did have at the time were my friends, because I had a car. I would drive them to wherever they wanted to go. If I wasn't working, we would go hang out, and but then it came a time where I started having a hard time, and those people that I called my friends, when I started having such a hard time trying to help out my mom, take care of my siblings, nobody was really around like that. I did have a few people that were supporting me at the time, but those people have moved away. And that's just kind of what it seemed like. Everyone that I do end up getting close to, they end up moving away. And it's crazy because they have told me, several times that I should do the same. And I really felt like I should have, but at the same time, it's like you listen to other people and you let other people influence you know, influence your actions, not realizing that the influence that they have or had could be stopping you or keeping you from doing something that you should be doing, or doing something you might really want to do. My kids, what I tell them both that I want to make sure that they're doing what they want to do, and they make sure that they do what they love, and to not listen to what anyone else wants them to do, because at the end of the day, if they don't reach their goal, or if they do not live their purpose, if they find that they're not happy or satisfied, or whatever the case may be, in any kind of way, I tell them to make their own decisions, because there's nobody else they would be able to blame. If things do not go the way they want it to go, or if there's certain things that they may regret not being able to do, I encourage them to follow their mind, because you can't put the blame on anyone else. And I do understand that, but people do play a huge role in your life, and they're a part of your environment that influence your actions. So we can't completely ignore the fact that they do still have some sort of an impact on who you are or who you become. And so I started hanging with this guy, and I saw the red flags, and I already knew I don't think this is going to work. I knew it wasn't going to, because it wasn't necessarily what I wanted at all. And our goals and everything just wasn't in alignment. But some people grow up feeling like they need to play the role of being the superhero, and they don't need to. They don't have to be everyone's superhero, especially when there's limited superheroes around them, meaning it's limited people and resources and help that they're able to call when they need it. And so I guess I stuck around, for I don't know how long, but I stuck around because I felt like, well, maybe this person actually does love me. Maybe they actually do need me. And this person had a reputation. This person, he was known everywhere. Everyone knew him. My family, friends. We all went to the same school, grew up around, each other, or grew up around someone that grew up around, person that we knew. So you get the point. But this person, I just, after a while of just being around him, and this is what I typically would do, is you start to, you try to see things differently. You try to find the things that you do like or love, instead of just, walking away or leaving at the time that you probably should have. And so he would several times convince me, even after I had told him, you know, after we dated for a little bit and I decided, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, he would convince me, or he'll try to talk me out of it. You know, no, but I did this and I got this, and just be patient. Whatever he was saying at the time, which, to be honest, I can't even remember all of what he's saying. I remember that night that I really just wanted to leave, and he wouldn't get out my car. And I guess he just thought that it was just, oh, it's just the argument that we were having. This is what we do kind of thing. No, I was over it. I had gotten over, I didn't care for how I was treated. So I was over our relationship. I didn't want to do it anymore. And so